welcome to Capital Combat. The name says it all. I'm Hakeem and
Rob,
and today we're going to recap the Adonis Stevenson-Fonfara match which happened this past Saturday. A match that we didn't think was going to be too competitive. Started out the way we felt and then turned into a great fight. Go ahead, Rob.
Okay, so Stevenson either was not prepared, not conditioned, or he might have taken Fonfara a little lightly. But we know one thing: Andrzej Fonfara came to fight.
That's right.
And he was actually getting beat in those first few rounds, but you can start seeing him around, I would say, about round 7, you can see Adonis Stevenson starting to get a little fatigued. He just wasn't moving as well. He wasn't taking the punches as well. And Fonfara just kind of crowded his space and kept moving forward, making Adonis Stevenson fight moving backwards, which does not seem to be his strong suit. Which could be with him still needing to develop his footwork. But Fonfara was a very tough customer in this fight. Even though he was knocked down and hurt on several occasions, he just kept getting back up and kept moving forward. And at a certain point, that long right hand, that long right was just starting to find his mark, where he ended up knocking Stevenson down in the ninth round. Yes, in the 9th round, which Stevenson might have been not only caught off balance, but in a fatigued state.
Yeah. Or it could be with the case of Adonis Stevenson, to quote my man, Denny Green, like, no, was it Denny? He was like, who he thought we were. That was Denny Green. Classic quote. Anyway, Adonis Stevenson might be what we thought he is. A flawed champion that is there for the taking, but like we have said, is getting better and better. Now, if you guys have watched the show for a while, you know that from the start, I wasn't that big of an Adonis Stevenson fan. Like, that was back in when I was seeing him on ESPN Friday Night Fights and things. He has gotten much better from those times.
That's right.
He's kind of flatlined since the Bellew fight, which is only one fight. He was fighting somebody that is better than Bellew in Fonfara. Maybe not much better, but he was better. And someone who had the desire and the determination that you can't measure on paper. When you got a guy that wants it, you can't tell how it's going to turn out in the ring. And you saw that this past Saturday with Fonfara. Yes, he was slow. Yes, he got hit a lot. Yes, he got dropped. But yes, he would not be denied. Now, while at the end of the day, all those things still ended up with him losing and pretty wide on the scorecards, it made for a very interesting night because he was real close to pulling off a major upset. Because like we said in the in our pre-fight video, I personally didn't think it'd go past 6 rounds. And for the first 6 rounds, it was looking that way.
That's right.
I mean, Stevenson was hitting him at will. Stevenson dropped him twice. Fonfara was very slow. But he was still coming. I mean, Adonis Stevenson hit him with everything he had, and Fonfara was still coming. You can't measure that on paper. We couldn't see that in the fighters that he had fought previously. So we really have to give him all the props that he deserves for fighting the best way he knew how and staying in the fight long enough to make it almost a close fight. Well, not like a close fight. He almost completely flipped the script because, I mean, he was down big time on the scorecards, getting beat up, and yet he still kept trying to win. And he almost did because Adonis Stevenson was getting very tired from hitting him at will and having to deal with that pressure that he was bringing. And then Fonfara started landing because Stevenson was getting tired. And those technical flaws that Rob and I pointed out many times in previous videos. The crossing of the feet, the improper placement of his feet, his kind of, I wouldn't say lack of movement, but sometimes he wastes movements.
Mm-hmm.
Those things began to catch up with him. These are the same things that, for those same reasons, we thought that Kovalev would be able to beat him. Those same reasons that we think that Bernard Hopkins will have a field day with this guy, which is probably going to happen now, and he's going to get rewarded handsomely for that, which he should as the champ and as someone who's been growing in popularity. But he should probably count down the days that he has the light heavyweight title, because Bernard Hopkins is about to make history again and be the oldest lineal champ in history.
Yes, Adonis Stevenson should have put a lot more into this fight. I don't know if he was unprepared or under condition, because of the simple fact that, one, that Bernard Hopkins' fight is looming.
Yeah.
That is a big money, if not the biggest money fight that of Stevenson's career. So he said he wasn't looking past Fonfara, but it's kind of hard to judge that because of the fact that after knocking Fonfara down twice, he kind of expended a lot of energy in that 8th round trying to knock Fonfara out. And you could tell in the 9th round, he just didn't have the movement needed to stay away from Fonfara and put him out.
Right.
Even though he did hurt him again, I believe in the 10th? No, the 11th round.
Yeah.
In the 11th round, and it was still a competitive 12th round, he still wasn't able to get him out of there, where a more conditioned Stevenson might have put him down.
Right.
Like he did against Bellew. So, I mean, props for him for pulling out, and props for working the body. He did a very good body work to slow Fonfara down. It was just mentally, I think Fonfara was a lot stronger than we gave him credit for.
Yeah. And two other things on that. One, we got to give props to Adonis Stevenson, even though I kind of just shredded him a little bit. We still got to give him props because he was almost knocked out.
Yes.
He was very tired in that 8th, 9th round.
That's right.
But then he fights back and wins the 10th and 11th round.
Mm-hmm.
Emphatically. At one point, Fonfara actually ran from him. He ran from him.
That's right.
So he has to get props for that, because a lesser man would have been taken out. Secondly, another point that Rob made, the body shots. Those body shots are probably what kept him in that fight. Had he been headhunting that whole fight, he probably would have been knocked out.
That's right.
So props to him and his trainer, Javon Sugar Hill, for coming up with that game plan and then sticking with that game plan because it was working. You see a lot of people who have a game plan and it's working, but then they start to fatigue and abandon that game plan. He didn't. And that helped seal the deal.
That's right.
So we have to give him props for getting deep into that well and digging even deeper to pull out the victory. That's a champion's mindset. That's that thing on paper that you can't measure. The same thing I was talking about earlier with Fonfara. So he's got it too, which is one of the reasons why we were kind of on the fence with him and Kovalev. We still think Kovalev would beat him, but it's not going to be an easy fight for Kovalev at any stretch of the imagination.
No.
I still think it'd be an easy fight for Hopkins, but they still got to fight the fight, which is why, like, at the end of the video, I was like, hey, maybe we'll be like, oh man, what a great fight. I wasn't expecting it, but we got it.
That's right.
So that's why they fight the fight. Another football quote. Who's the guy who's like, hello, you played to win the game? Who was that?
I cannot remember.
I think that was Herm Edwards.
That could have been Herm. Sounds like Herm.
Yeah, it's like, that's why they fight the fight. You fight to win. And if you fight to win, guess what? You might just win. Even if all the odds are against you. Even if the guy is 10 times better than you. We saw it in the Renan Barão TJ Dillashaw fight. I mean, that's a different sport, but it's the same thing. You can't measure that desire. You can't do it. When a guy wants it and he has the skills to take it, and you don't have the will to stop him from taking it, you're losing your belt. Adonis Stevenson had the will to say, hey there, young buck. Well, yeah, he's young to him.
Yeah.
You're not taking my belt. I don't care. I want this belt. I need this belt. and you're not gonna take it. So hats off to both men for putting forth a great effort and giving us an entertaining fight. Anything you want to add?
I don't know if you caught the undercard, but David Lemieux has put himself back in the middleweight picture by blitzing out Fernando Guerrero. It was an ending that I didn't expect, even though I knew Lemieux was a knockout artist. He kind of stumbled a bit versus Hakeem Alcine, but I think he's right back in that picture at 160. Not that he can beat the top, I want to say 3 or 4 fighters in that division, but he will make it interesting.
Yeah, that's right. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like this video, share it with your friends using all your social networks. If you guys are on Facebook, you can like our page, Capital of Combat. You can follow us on Google Plus. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel. That way you can communicate with us and get all our latest videos. If you got anything you want to add, comment sections down below. We love to chat with you. Keep it respectful. And if you got any questions, you can shoot us an email at capitalcombat@gmail.com, and we'll add it to our combat mailbag. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.
This is round 1 and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming and gone. My fists are on fire, I perform till I perspire. My demons are in a rage, keep thinking that it's a game. I kick rhyme, hurricane, I told them I don't play, I'm liquid.
Black Street Fighter.